Hey everyone, welcome back to this week's pull. And it seems like you guys liked this format last time. I gave you it on Tuesday, so we're going to do it again here again. This week we have the newest version of this week's pull on Tuesday night for you, so you guys can walk in on Wednesday and be informed buyers on knowing what you're going to read. All the images you're seeing this week are actually done by Dallas, our fellow podcaster friend. Say hello, Dallas.
Hello.
And this week is this is kind of a big day for us here because
it's my birthday.
Yes, it is Josh's birthday, and so because of that, we're going to make him go second on the review. So this week, the three big issues we're going to be talking about is Thor issue 1 just dropped from Marvel, Plastic Man number 1 just dropped from DC, and Marvel also released an issue of Starboy featuring the Weeknd.
It's motherfucking Starboy.
It's motherfucking Starboy. But anyway, we're going to get right into it. Dallas is going to...
Oh, by the way, this is What Are We Reading?
As Josh would always like to say.
I have to say it.
Thank you for keeping tradition. But leading into
There's
the
thumbs
reviews,
up, guys.
I read Plastic Man, as Jake mentioned, and I'm trying something new every
week.
week.
Who's the creative team on Plastic Man?
Plastic Man is Simone, Mello,
Simone?
and Fitzpatrick.
All right.
Now, every week I'm trying to challenge myself to read something I normally wouldn't pick up, and this was my challenge this week. I normally wouldn't pick up Plastic Man, but it is a 6-issue miniseries. This is the first issue, as Jake mentioned, and it's a nice introduction because, keeping it brief on the summary, Plastic Man's trying to remember what exactly had happened to him, and you get a little bit of mafia feel to it at times, and it was interesting because I wouldn't expect that from a title like Plastic Man. I expected going into it something jokey and corny, and it really honestly isn't. I mean, he's a smartass, but he's not like corny and stupid about it. And he gets approached by someone from Spiral. He is informed that there are some sort of intruders in all teams, including the Justice League, Teen Titans. There's some kind of intruder, you don't know who, and they need someone that isn't known. And Plastic Man, his alter ego is dead, so he's not known, and she knows who he is, so they want someone unknown to infiltrate. So he's this unknown figure in it, and it looks to be interesting leading into the future. Flipping through it really quickly, like I said, you do get a brief backstory, and keeping up with the humor, there is a couple funny scenes. One is he changes into Wonder Woman, and because he doesn't want Plastic Man to be known, so like I said, cheesy. And then this girl sees him, and he's nude, and he's like, hey, can you turn around so I can put on clothes? And she's like, no, I don't turn my back on people. And he stands up, and he's completely nude, and he's like, are you staring at my 6-pack? And he's like, I can make it a 12-pack, and he turns it into a 12-pack.
Nice.
So it's humorous, but I am excited.
Gail Simone?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Oh, by the way, also, right when he does that, he goes, our 12-pack, and he goes, are you looking at my, and it's like, boom, like, yeah.
You know what he's talking.
It's really kind of odd having that from Gail Simone. There's a lot of dick jokes.
Yeah, there's a few.
She's kind of a feminist writer. She's objectifying men sexually. Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, but hey, he does wear a shirt that's like for the DC superhero girls.
Yeah.
Like for like little girls, he does wear a shirt like that. So
yeah, well, yeah, that's
girl
fair.
Power.
That's fair. Without telling you the ending, I'll just say it sets up my interest and future continuing reading of this. So leaving off on that, I would give this one.
And we are unveiling this week's grading scale. So Dallas, please let us know your grade.
This week, I give Plastic Man 4.5 bottled cities of Kandor.
Out of 5. Interesting.
Out of 5.
Okay.
Well, I read it as well, and I actually give it 4 out of 5 bottle cities of Kandor.
Interesting. I have a regular who comes in here, and he was all hyped up and all juiced up about this Plastic Man book, and I just kept ragging on how stupid I think Plastic Man is, even though I think Frank Miller was like, he's honestly one of the like Omega level powers if you really think about what he can do. I'm like, yeah, it's interesting, but fuck Plastic Man. But after your guys' recommendations, maybe I'll flip through this thing and see how I feel about it. All right, Josh, what are you gonna bring us with motherfucking Starboy?
Well, thank you for taking the introduction away from me.
It's your birthday.
It's your birthday. Okay, so Starboy, it's based off of the song "Starboy" by The Weeknd. This comic book is 2 years short from the release of that song, but hey, let's see if we can also get that song back up and going.
What's the best way to capitalize on popularity? Wait 2 years and then come out with something.
Of course.
It's the best way.
Of course.
Or you do like Avatar does and wait like 9 years.
Oh, yeah.
The creative team, the writers on it is The Weeknd himself. That's not his full name. It's just The Weeknd. Okay.
Without an E.
Lamar Taylor, which is actually his creative director, and then Christos Gage. He's worked on a few tie-in issues of like Spider-Man and stuff like that for Marvel. The artist is Eric Wynn. He's mostly just known for cover artwork, but the artwork is actually quite interesting in it. But this story takes place about a few years from now in a town called Alphatron, and it's run by a guy who's merged all the gangs together. His name is Jack the Chef Smiley. He's called the Chef because he also eats bodies.
No.
Oh.
He's a cannibal.
I thought you were just
Okay.
going to say he eats, and then you were going to leave it at that.
And this is not your normal, this is like Max type Marvel, because like you first start off with these like gory pictures of cops just being hung up and chopped. That's who Smiley is like that. He's a bad guy, and don't worry. This Blue Lives Matter too, guys. But the mayor's putting together this team of robotic android like force
I don't know. Militia. or
power
something?
force kind of thing for the police officers, because police officers are dying everywhere and they can't stop these gangs. They can't stop Smiley. The team that's putting this these androids, building them and giving them to the cops, it's, I want to say Star Labs, but I know it's not Star Labs.
Yeah, because that'd be DC.
Yeah, but it's the founder of the company. His name is Isaac Starr, and Solar Enterprises. That's what it's called. Solar Enterprises. Starboy. Got it. Check it. Okay, so the dad's name is Isaac Starr, and Jermaine Starr is his son, who also helps him work on these like robots and all their tech and everything that they make. But he does this. The commissioner's not down for it. He goes, "Oh, this is like RoboCop. You're building these police robots."
They actually
And
reference RoboCop.
they don't.
Oh,
They don't.
okay.
I'm just saying it for myself. And you see in their lab when they're working on these robots that Jermaine, who looks an awful lot like The Weeknd with his haircut, built a thing called a star chamber. Now, before I continue on to anything else, this book is mostly just like an origin story of a new character. Obviously, it has to be. But it's done in a very kind of Marvel origin kind of story-esque kind of way. Just way more gory. But, of course, every origin story has to have some kind of sad thing that happens that drives the main character. And I'm hoping that with these little things that I've dropped about Star Chamber that powers the city and Solar Enterprises, that we can kind of understand how he becomes Starboy, because I'm not going to go ahead and spoil that part.
Good.
And so that is my review for this. I will give you my rating now.
Okay.
And here we go.
Thank you for
Guys
telegraphing
ready?
it. Yeah.
I'm narrating myself. Okay. I will actually give
Speaking in, like, the
this.
fourth person. Like, how do you do that?
Josh doesn't speak in fourth person. Josh read Starboy. Josh likes Starboy. Starboy was good. I give it a 3.75 bottled cities of Kandor.
All right, I got a question. Is it? I mean, it's under the Marvel umbrella. Does it seem to take place inside the Marvel universe?
No.
Okay.
So it's its own separate entity.
It's its
it
own.
seems.
To be honest, I feel like the way this book came out was they made the song and they're like, "Hey, Starboy could be a superhero," and they're like, "Yeah," and so The Weeknd and his creative director made up a comic book and probably pushed it around to a few people, and then Marvel was like,
Sure.
"I like Starboy."
So you think this? So this feels kind of like maybe like a DC imprint, but for Marvel, like it should be like a Marvel imprint.
Yeah, like it should be on Icon or something like
Yeah.
that. Or Max. I would probably say Max almost. Granted, Max wasn't really heavily in the Marvel universe, but it's really gory. Like, this is something that you, like, I mean, it's not super, super gory. I've seen other stuff that's worse, but this is actually pretty gory. And the storytelling was interesting. I think that they took a song and they actually made something pretty cool, to be honest.
All right, awesome. Okay, so my big issue this week was Thor issue 1. I've been a big fan of Jason Aaron's Thor run since he started it back in like 2013, I think. It was something right around there with God of Thunder. Anyway, so now this one is Thor is back. He's got a new hammer. Lady Thor, Jane Foster Thor, is no longer a thing. Thor's got himself a new golden arm. He's getting himself some new hammers. And what's great about this is it's yes, it's an issue 1, but it is still directly preceding everything that's happened since the God of Thunder run. This has all been one entire run, and for me, that feels like a big payoff because I've been reading everything, and it feels just like I get to keep following this story. It's not like it's been ended abruptly and they're starting new with Thor. That's what I love about this. Thor is just going to continue this series that he's on. Jason Aaron has left a huge imprint on Thor, and I think this is one of the best runs out of Marvel in a long, long time, partially because it has been ongoing for years. So don't let the issue 1 fool you. So what's great about this is that if you've been a longtime reader of Jason Aaron, his Thor run, you can jump on this issue and feel like you aren't missing a beat. Everything you've read before it is still canon, it's still part of the story, and it's going on. If you're a new reader looking to jump on Thor, all the things that they referenced in the past, I don't think they detract from the story, but it would get you interested in going, I'm curious about what happened before all this and how Thor and Asgard and all those races got to where they're at here. So anyway, if you read what happened in the last Thor run, Jane's no longer Thor. Asgard's blown up, Mjolnir's gone. It sounds a little bit like Thor Ragnarok. Funny how that happens. But anyway, so now Thor is out there, and so Odin's vault exploded, and all the treasures that were in Odin's vault have been spread across the universe, and Thor's kind of going after all of them, retrieving them. And the first guy we run into is, I'm going to keep this under wraps, but it's a fan favorite villain, and Thor versus this guy. It's a lot of fun to watch. There's some good humor in it. It doesn't feel like Thor Ragnarok humor. It feels more like the Jack Kirby days of Thor being kind of this humorous, arrogant, kind of lumbering idiot almost, but still with a trick up his sleeve. He's fucking powerful, right? So anyway, so the new hammers is kind of a gag, which is a lot of fun. We see this book is also kind of setting up the chessboard of everything that involves Thor and the world that he lives in and all his people. So we're kind of seeing the fallout of everything that happened from the last one and where everyone's at now, what everyone's doing. Lots of long-term repercussions. And of course, no issue 1 of Thor would be complete without a Loki reappearance. So Loki comes in, and where it ends is it's interesting, but basically Thor's going to be going to war. And then at the end of this book is a small little segment that if you've been reading the Thor God of Thunder run, this has been seeded for a long time. Aaron's been weaving this thread throughout his entire thing because in the original Thor God of Thunder run, you dealt with future Allfather Thor, you dealt with present-day Avenger Thor, and pre-Avenger Thor during the Norse mythology days. So all those stories were being told all at once, and now in this one we're getting Allfather Thor again and what's going on. And the person he runs into at the end is fucking awesome. I loved it. I'm curious about how it happened. I'm curious about what's going on, but it's basically kind of the end of days. The universe is dying, and Thor is like, there's no life left. And it brings up an interesting point about gods, which is I spent all this time protecting Midgard that I didn't really take the time to protect the rest of the universe, and now it's dying. It's kind of an interesting idea. Like, what happens if a god focuses too much on just one race of people and not the rest? So I love this issue. I would completely recommend it, and we had a lot of issues, and a lot of them went to pull list. A lot of people are already looking to pick this up. I'm very happy. I'm hoping to spark some interest in people going backtracking and reading the Thor God of Thunder run. If I'm going to rate this one, I'm going to give it 4.5 bottled cities of Kandor out of 5.
Ooh. I also read this one, and I do have to agree. Since I didn't read the previous story, you mentioned that it doesn't detract, and I'm the perfect example. I read through it. I had a few questions, but it's because I was interested, and now I do want to go back and read it. And I'm myself not a huge Thor fan, but this series makes me want to kind of continue and see what's going on and read backwards.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird because Dallas was supposed to be our DC fanboy, and lately he does nothing but praise Marvel books.
Well, hang on. There might be some DC ones to slide in here today. You never know.
That's DC sliding into that DM.
Yeah, you never know, man.
But no, what's actually really cool is I'm kind of the reverse of Dallas because years ago, I was just straight Marvel, right? And then I was like, I feel Marvel's getting a little stale for me. I'm gonna branch into DC, and I started getting more and more involved into DC. And just because it felt so fresh and new compared to everything I was reading at Marvel, it just it just piqued my interest, and I had intrigue in it. So I started delving more and more into the DC universe. And I can slowly start to see Dallas doing the same thing with Marvel. So, as a comic retailer and as a fan, both, it's exciting to see. All right, Dallas, what else did you read this week? Oh wait, no, you read Thor too. So
I read Thor too.
What would you give it as a rating?
Because of that ending that you mentioned that's so spectacular and has me excited, I really am looking forward to it, and that's the point of an issue, to look forward to continue reading. So I'm going to give it I'll be generous this week. I'll give it a 4.5 too. Bottled Cities of Kandor.
Wow.
He's just throwing out 4.5s like it's nothing.
I know, and you're over here going like, I'm splitting this shit up into quarters, 3.75.
4.13. This is what this one gets.
Yeah.
All right.
So that's that one.
Hell yeah. So what else did you read this week, Dallas?
I also read the Titans special. This is from the Events of No Justice, which I myself have not read yet. But this is a #1, a new story to come from it. Brief summary, it's a setup issue recruiting a new team. That's all I'm going to say about it, with new threats because of these new forces due to the wall breaking.
The source wall,
The
yeah.
source wall. This one was also very interesting, straightforward tale. Good job, DC, for finally setting up an Origins thing that's just straightforward.
I gotta say, the art is beautiful.
Oh, the art is amazing through the whole thing. I'm going to give this one... I'll go 4 out of 5 Bottled Cities of Kandor.
Okay, I was expecting more like a 3-5 or something.
Yeah,
okay.
I was like,
Well, there's a fewer lower ones in this one.
Okay.
Man of Steel, issue 3.
What I think we all three read.
We
right?
all three read,
Yeah, we
so
all
we'll
three.
all have input on this one. This one, I'm glad they find, like, I don't want to say finally because it's only been 3 issues, but they pick a direction. It's very, here's the story, here's a quick flashback, here's the story. So it was very nice. You get a little bit of insight into the fires that they've been setting up. This one, I'm going to give a 3.75 out of 5 Bottled Cities of Kandor.
Okay.
What's your guys' input on that one?
I actually agree. I'd give it 3.75. Bottle Cities of Kandor. It's once I've been saying it since day one, since we've been reviewing this book. I think that this is a book that I won't be able to really give an actual accurate grade on until I read all 6 of them. I feel like this book was meant to be in trade.
Okay, for me, this is actually the most hollow of all 3 issues so far. It's the one that interests me the least, but the thing that has me most interested is I can tell this is right before, this is the issue that leads up to what we saw in Action Comics 1000, which is what has me a little bit more interested. But for this issue, strictly speaking, I'm going 2.75 Bottle Cities of Kandor. It wasn't my favorite one.
All right. Now I'm moving on to Hawkman #1. This one was interesting. While I will say most of the narrative in it wasn't that interesting.
Which is bad because Robert Venditti is doing so good with Hal Jordan right now.
It dragged on a little bit. It had a little bit of a kind of Uncharted Tomb Raider feel to it, looking for prized artifacts. That was most of the journey. And there was a nice 2-page spread that kind of won me over with it. So that's all I'll say on that one. This one I'm going to go even lower. I'll go 3 Bottle Cities of Kandor.
He's been awfully
pretty
generous
generous, yeah.
today.
I will say DC impressed me.
How
today.
many bottles of Kandor do I get?
You get?
It's your birthday.
It's your
you
birthday.
It's my birthday!
And the last issue I read, which actually Jake read as well, is The Magic Order.
Yeah.
This one, I was not expecting to read. We needed to read 6, so I grabbed it. Jake said he was reading it. He needed a second input. I read through it. Interesting Harry Potter, but darker.
Yeah.
That's what I'll say.
Oh, so what you're saying is I'm going to give it 5 Bottle Cities
You
of
might.
Kandor.
You might. This one was
Harry Potter!
This one was a surprise hit for me. I'm not going to go as high, but I'll say 3.5 through 3.25.
Okay, I'm
somewhere in that
gonna
range.
sell this one a little bit. So we've got
Go for it.
the creative team of Mark Millar as on the writing and Oliver Coipel on the art. I love Mark Millar's arting. I love arting.
I love his arting.
I love Mark Millar's writing, and I love Oliver Coipel on the art. So this right here feels like a classic Mark Millar book. Right away, it takes something that you feel like you know, and it turns it on its ear. The Mark Millar does deconstruct stories that you
So it's a
feel like
classic Mark Millar arting.
art. It's very good. It's very good arting.
The arting in it, I do
Yeah.
have to applaud. That was my favorite thing about it.
Yeah.
You know what? You need to copyright that.
It's arting.
Because there's some people that say that, artists will
It's a
do
verb.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, so Mark Millar again, he takes something that you feel like you know, you're familiar with, turns it on its ear right away. The first thing you see that makes you go, "Holy shit!" happens. I think in the first 2 pages, you're like, "Jesus, okay, that's where this story's going." But again, Oliver Coipel, I love Oliver Coipel ever since his Straczynski on Thor, and then what I would akin this to is like it's Harry Potter meets Constantine and they stray away from feeling too much like a Doctor Strange, but it also has a little bit of peppered in version of like Christopher Nolan's The Prestige in there.
Yep.
So it's got
that's
me.
a very good.
So what you're
very
saying is
good
I
comparison.
definitely,
All 3 of those.
Thank
very
you.
Good.
I'm definitely going to love this book.
Yeah,
You
I
will.
think you
Everything
will.
I love all mixed in one.
You should read it.
So, anyways, I think it's a great read. I'm actually really looking forward to seeing more. I don't feel like I've seen a lot from Mark Millar lately, so this one has got me intrigued. If you've read his Jupiter's Legacy or Jupiter's Circle, I think it's going to be in the same vein as something like that. I'm going to go ahead and give it 4.0 for Bottled Cities of Kandor. But all right, and then Josh, I think we're onto your list, sir.
We are.
We're on my list? Oh, man. Okay, so once again, Josh likes to cause punishment to himself and read the books that nobody else wants to read.
Oh, you read Teen Titans Go.
I did. No, I read Nancy Drew #1 by Dynamite. It's the writing is Kelly Thomas and oh god, I can't remember the artist. Jen Strong. I mean, it's a classic Nancy Drew kind of thing. You know, like it's more modernized and edgier, and she has lesbian friends and stuff like that. Solving a big mystery. I think that this book is going to be perfect for anybody who liked the aesthetic of Gwenpool, Squirrel Girl, stuff like that, like Erica Henderson stuff. It's kind of a mystery. I don't think I'm going to continue to read it, so I'm going to give it about 2.75 Bottle Cities of Kandor. But I do believe that it's just one like Dazzler. It's not for me, not for Josh. For somebody else.
You're really leaning on that, like trying to figure out. It sounds like you cut off a fourth of some people.
Yeah.
No, it's not for me. But so I'm going to grade it a little bit lower. But to be honest, I know a lot of people who come in here and they love Gwenpool and those books that are written like that in that style, very girl power.
Wasp or
the Wasp and stuff like that. Not just saying just girls, because I know a lot of guys that really like that style too.
Right. It's
just not for me. But I know a lot of people who will really like that book. I almost think that my girlfriend would probably really like that book, just not for me.
Okay.
The other book I read was Deadpool Assassins, Deadpool Assassin 1, written by Colin Bunn. More of a serious Deadpool. The jokes are more just smart-ass jokes, not actual jokes, you know, like poop jokes and stuff. So I kind of dig that. I'm going to give that one, I'm going to give it probably like a 2.5. Bottle Cities of Kandor. It's not bad, but it's just not, you know,
It's not your Deadpool.
Doesn't make my nut, you know.
Hashtag not my Deadpool.
Hashtag not my Deadpool. You know what? I'm gonna change it 2.75.
Oh wow, okay, he's bumping at 3/4.
The art was good. Okay.
All right.
And then the last thing I read was Batman Prelude to the Wedding. I've been reading all these, and I continue to do them just because I really like that first one with Robin and Ra's al Ghul. This is Batgirl versus the Riddler. And
Don't like that look of the Riddler already.
This book is stupid. The whole thing is
the Riddler Tim Seeley too, huh?
Yeah, they're all written by Tim Seeley, and the first one was good, but the Nightwing and the Hush was like, and then this one it just keeps going down.
Oh no.
This one, it's literally what it is Batgirl just like on patrol, and then the Riddler's like, hey, Catwoman and Batman fell in love, maybe we can fall in love. So all these riddles, like. And it's the whole thing of just her listening to these things and her solving each of these riddles, and it just wasn't good. I'm going to give this one a 1.5.
Wow.
Just because it showed up? Just because the panels were complete?
It wrote its name on the
panels
test.
were complete. There was words. There was dialogue. It was just such a fucking... I almost feel like he just like... It didn't really seem to do a whole lot with the wedding. The rest of them, like at least Robin and Ra's al Ghul made sense. Nightwing and the Hush, they were at a bachelor party. There's nothing. It's just
But
Riddler's
love
kind
is
of
in
like
the
going.
air.
Riddler's kind of like there's love in the air, and if Batman can fall in love with the villain, why can't we?
Okay, all right. So, going on my list, the first thing I'm going to go to is Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps, issue 46. Good issue. Again, if you've been reading this whole series, this is starting to feel like a payoff. We know that the Dark Stars saga is continuing here, and we know that Guy Gardner is actually now one of the Dark Stars. He's kind of pissed off at his dad for beating him as a kid, so it's that, plus Hal Jordan teaming up with Hector Hammond, and John Stewart teaming up with General Zod. Pretty cool shit. I'm going to give it 3.75 Bottles of City Kandor. I'm actually really not looking forward to this series ending here in 2 issues, I think, or 1. The next one I read was the Hunt for Wolverine tie-in, the Adamantium Agenda #2. My favorite of the Hunt for Wolverine series so far. This is the second one. It's written by Tom Taylor, I think. And this guy, man, he knows how to write the different characters. He knows how to write Spider-Man, he knows how to write Iron Man, he knows how to write Jessica Jones and Luke Cage. Makes for a lot of fun. This one's got the most Wolverine out of any Hunt for the Wolverine stuff going on, but it's told through flashback and present day. Good stuff. solid 3.5 Bottle Cities Kandor.
I'd like to throw in, listen to you read that because you were laughing quite a bit. It sounds like it was humorous.
It was. There were some good moments. Again, it felt like a classic Bendis, actually. It felt like classic Bendis writing, so that's what I liked about it. The next one I read was the Marvel 2-in-1 Annual, which was The Thing and the infamous Iron Man. Now, if you are a fan of Dr. Doom the way I am, this is actually a really intriguing look into the psychology of Dr. Doom, kind of a peeling back of the curtain of his mind and the way it works. And the other thing that I really liked about this is I'm starting to now get the idea that this whole 2-in-1 thing is a way to bring the Fantastic Four back the way that everyone's anticipating that first Fantastic Four issue, so we can kind of start to see the puzzle pieces fall into place here. I'm going to give this one a 3.75 Bottle Cities Kandor. It was great. The only thing that was more of a detriment to me was just the art style. Wasn't a big fan of the art style, but if you're a Dr. Doom fan, this is definitely a must-read. And I have gone through my entire list. So
we
already talked
shared
about
a few similarities.
Yeah, we talked about
week.
Man of Steel, Thor 1, and Magic Order. And so, guys, that is all we've got for you this week. We really hope that you like this segment. Again, it seems like you liked getting this early on Tuesday night, so we're going to try and continue to do that for you. Guys, do you have anything else you want to say other than it's your birthday?
Damn it, I was going to say this is my birthday.
Go ahead. We left it open for you.
Yeah, I like to undercut you anyway.
Okay, wait, okay.
All right, guys, that's all we have for you. Thanks for listening.